Ideas bring a new mindset. New thinking truly changes the nature of who we are, how we behave, how we deal with each other. In essence, it changes humanity. So the Institute is dedicated to developing and promoting ideas. And we work with institutions and thinkers all around the world, in the West and in the East. And having a place that is a place where we bring together thinkers physically is not only important symbolically, but I think important in terms of practical development. And building what we are building in the mountains here in Los Angeles, I think will give us a chance to bring in people who can then work, think, get together, and in this case also live to develop ideas. The prize rewards a thinker, therefore rewards somebody whose life is dedicated to creating ideas. So it fits very, very well.
I think the prize starts with the conviction that ideas really matter, and the ways in which we think the world and understand it most deeply shape the kind of policies that we can form, shape the ways in which we behave economically or in our social life, and especially the relation among different civilizations. So the prize honors somebody whose ideas and whose work as a deep thinker have profound significance for a wider public and for how people live their own individual lives.
It's a yearly prize. A multicultural jury. It also is composed of men and women, and very importantly, across disciplines. So philosophy is heavily weighted, but also knowledge of politics, economics, social sciences in general. And that, for us, is important.
The prize is doing very well. Last year, it was our first year. We were trying to put together a great prize for ideas. The general description of philosophy fits that way. The history of ideas is, in a way, the history of philosophy. We got a splendid winner last year.
What I would like to preach for is more of this attempt to integrate philosophy with the approaches of other disciplines. History, music, poetry, sociology, and so on. And that's because I think there are a certain number of interesting issues that you can't get to without that. And indeed, if you think of the agenda of the Berggruen Institute, right, which is attempting to bring understanding across these huge cultural gaps, it's got to be philosophy of that kind, which is going to make real contributions here.
At the beginning, when we discussed about the prize, we also mentioned that many of thinkers, they are not necessarily grew up in the tradition of Western philosophy. In China, we talk about Kang Youwei, talk about Zhang Taiyan, or in India, some other. They are not purely the professional philosophers, but in the 20th century, they played a great role, a huge impact in their society, also in the humankind.
So Onora O'Neill is the winner.
I'm so excited about Onora O'Neill as this year's winner. She's been a role model for me as a pioneering philosopher who has spoken to the human condition and really has spoken in ways that make a difference to humanity. She's spoken about why it's not only trust that matters, but trustworthiness. She's spoken about why it's not only rights that matter, but our obligations to other people. And she's done it in a way that's philosophically rigorous and that also speaks to everybody.
I think philosophy is a really practical subject. I think by philosophical reasoning, we discover how far we can push our claims to knowledge, how far we can push our claims that some things are good, other things are bad, that some things are absolutely necessary for justice. So I've always been interested in a great variety of separate, quite practical questions. I think philosophy is, in the end, a very practical subject. It's about how to answer that question. What to do, what ought we do, why ought we do it, why ought we not do it if it's something bad. And answering that question is extremely difficult and very preoccupying, but also extremely satisfying if you can make some progress on answering it.
In the future of the Berggruen Prize, I think we will see more and more of a sense of the breadth of philosophy, the way that philosophical thinking is shaped by different cultural contexts, and the way in which individual thinkers from these different contexts are in conversation with each other about the great transformations that are reshaping our lives.
Today, rethinking democracy, rethinking capitalism, rethinking humanity itself are key things where we are just touching at the issues, but we really haven't come up with the answers. And part of what we do at the Institute is to try to help think through the questions so that we can come up to some of the answers.